What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're in the military, retired, or a veteran, then this video is for you, talking about how to get started in real estate investing. I'm Johnny Lynum, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're talking about just my background, my story on how I got started in real estate investing after joining the Air Force, and kind of going through and just the career that I built in both the Air Force and really real estate investing simultaneously. For me, grew up in Alabama, went to high school, was academically inclined, was smart, played sports, basketball guy, and fortunately enough, I was able to get a ROTC scholarship out of high school to the Army. Yep, that's right, to the Army. Um, Subsequently, went on my interview with the Army. Everything went well, but while I was there, my dad, who's a Vietnam vet, told me, he's like, "Hey, if you're going up there to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, you might as well talk to the Air Force guys too while you're there." And so I did. I took him up on it. When I was there, talked with them. They loved that I was majoring in electrical engineering and actually graduated with electrical engineering degree. And they told me, if you come in and sign up for ROTC your fall semester with your degree, we'll be able to bring you on scholarship the spring semester. And I already had, a number of the academic scholarships. So at that point, it was like, okay, I turned down the Army 4 year full ride and took the Air Force up on their word. And as they say, the rest is history. And so I was fortunate enough to get my ROTC scholarship that spring semester, my freshman year, and just stayed with it 5 years. Did all my curriculum for my engineering degree. Then I think we add on additional like 20, 25 hours for ROTC over those 5 years. And it was a blessing. And I talk about this in my book, Millionaire Real Estate Success Strategies, what they forgot to teach you in school. If you don't have the book, get the book. But in that book, I talk about my journey with coming out of college and not really having a strong financial literacy background. Even though I had an electrical engineering degree, I didn't know about real estate investing. I didn't know about stocks and bonds. I didn't know about, how to invest capital to get a return. I didn't know how companies are evaluated, on raising capital and things like that. And so I definitely was set back by that. And I didn't know about credit. My credit report was jacked up. And I always tell my story that about how I had a family member that had to sign on my lease for my apartment building, start my new job. And so that pushed me to get my credit together. And after doing that, about 10 months at my first duty station, Warner Robins, Georgia, that I never forget Lieutenant Nick Battle. We were both LTs together. He came to me. He was like, "Bro," he's like, "I found this duplex for sale." He's like, "I'm going to get one side. You need to get the other side. And we need to make it happen." And, lo and behold, didn't know a whole lot about real estate, but I was like, hey, when looking into it, it was like my mortgage payment each month was going to be $300 more, well, $300 more than $300 less than what I was paying in rent. And then after that, I was like, I own the place and it's mine. And then when I leave, I can rent it out and make more money than what I'm paying the mortgage. I like, it's a no brainer. And so after doing that, closing, got money back at closing, I was hooked on real estate. I joined my local real estate investor association up in Macon, Georgia, under William Tingle. One of the Subject 2 Kings. That was his thing. Still going strong down there in Macon. And I just started to continue to consume information and get into real estate investing. And then, from there, it's just been a constant journey. With PCSs, with moves, going to different training, going to Intel school, then going up to Newport News and Langley Air Force Base, then then coming back into the DC area, working with different company, well, agencies up here on that side, and back to Panama City, Florida, then back to the Northern Virginia area now, and it's just been a constant journey. But that's been my testimony. We started flipping back in 2015, built a business all while still active duty. I shoot this content right now. I'm about to get ready to head into work for the day and had to get my content in to share with you guys. But it's just a testament to just time management, building the team, building systems in place where it's that you can run an effective real estate investing business while still serving active duty and still, be gainfully and fully employed and leading teams, diverse teams or whatever it may be, still having the ability to do what you do despite being able to serve and give back to the country. And I think that's been one of the cool things to where is that now we've done over 40 real estate transactions over that time frame. Build a sizable portfolio of 35 doors, and it's just been a blessing buying single family. Doing some burrs, some flips. Buying apartment buildings, and it's just been a blessing to be able to do all this and build generational wealth while I'm serving. And meeting other real estate investors. So that's a little bit about me and my backstory, and how I got started in real estate. Really for me, the big book that pushed me over the top was Rich Dad Poor Dad. It just gave me that entrepreneurial mindset and kind of seeing how laying it out. Because my dad always told me, I didn't know exactly what it meant, but he was saying, hey, he was like, it's cool to go to school, but always know when he was an entrepreneur, he had his own television appliance repair company, and he was like, hey, you're not going to be rich if you're working for somebody else. If you want to be rich, you need to build a business. It always stuck in the back of my head, even though I went off, graduated, serving in the Air Force, and and just odd jobs that I created, for as a lawn care business, a car wash business, in the past. And it hit me now. I built a business about buying distressed assets and then being able to add value in order to make profit. And so that's kind of been my journey with real estate investing, and it hadn't always been easy. But you're moving constantly to different locations. You're meeting different people. You're networking. You're understanding real estate markets in different areas. I've been to, easily I've lived in 6 different real estate markets. So I have a different perspective, experience, price points. Just seeing the different locations and how things can be affected by jobs, and so all of that goes into that experience up until this point. And for me, it's always been about legacy and being able to give back to my family in long term. Whereas that the Bible says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his kids, and that's what I'm a true believer in, and that's what we're working towards now with real estate investing. Real estate investing has made the most millionaires over the last 2 centuries than any other asset class. And whether if you're heavy in stocks, I encourage people to diversify. That you want to have some exposure to real estate, whereas that you have equity, you have real estate gets paying you passively with that cash flow that's coming in each month, and the tax benefits. There's not too many assets, if any. You might could argue with oil and gas with some of the depreciation and write-offs that you get for that. But with real estate, with the tax benefits that you're able to get, especially on the apartment commercial side, with cost segregation studies where you can do bonus depreciation, which 100% bonus depreciation runs out 2022, then it caps off at 80% next year. So you definitely want to start looking on the multifamily side for that shameless plug. But that's the biggest thing, and I think we as military people, we have great skills that directly come into play when it comes to real estate investing. So I think one, time, being able to manage time. If you're in the military, then you're gonna have to know how to manage time, because it comes inherently with it. You got to be at a place at a certain time. You got to be there early. You're disciplined, and you understand the importance of time and the scarcity of time. And I think that's one of the things that comes into place, where is that you come to a duty station, you're going to be here for just a short amount of time, maybe 2 years, 3 years. You may have a deployment in there, and so there's time with the emphasis on you have a short amount of time in a location, but a lot of times your schedule is flexible. You have downtime around different areas, especially if you're a young airman, young army soldier. You got downtime where you can be learning, you can be reading books, seminars, online coursework, different things, whereas that you can start studying and getting the knowledge, whereas that now you can align yourself with somebody that may have more money than you because you got more time and they got more money, and you come together a partnership, whereas that now you can find a team that can start doing properties together. And I see, with military cash flow, with those guys over there, what they're doing, military to millionaire, with David Perret, and you got all kind of Brian Briscoe, who's on the apartment space, and you just got all kind of people out there. Bill Allen, he was a Navy reservist, and all these military, reservists or veterans that have created great businesses. Most of them while they were still serving, they were doing wholesaling, they were doing fix and flips, they were doing apartment building syndications and things like that. Whereas that there is an ability to do both simultaneously. Moving. As I said, you know, I've been to at least 6 different duty stations. Moving around, you get a different perspective. Yep, so there's always a different perspective with moving around and being able to go into different locations for a period of time to see, you know, expensive markets, cheap markets, and then being able to invest virtually in these markets. When you leave, you have a perspective of now you can deploy virtually into those markets and lead a team because you know the streets, you know the areas, because you lived there 2 or 3 years. So you're not coming in cold. And that's one of the things that has led to us to be able to invest in virtually from a distance in places like Panama City, Birmingham, Alabama. The familiarity is there. Been there, boots on the ground, walk the streets, you know the neighborhoods. Now you can flip there virtually. You can wholesale it virtually. You can add assets to your rental property, rental portfolio, virtually. And so that's an option as well too. With moving, you just see the different areas, and along with moving is the VA loan. And we'll talk a little bit more about the VA loan. But the third point that I want to say that comes into, you know, a benefit and can be considered a challenge is the long distance side of investing. That a lot of people, they look at it as, hey, I'm being a long distance investor is hard, but there's an opportunity because others can't do it. You're able to provide that vision and insight and lead a team to invest virtually. And so I'm a huge proponent of long distance investing and being able to take what people perceive as negative, you know, not necessarily always having enough time. You can make time. Always moving around. Moving around can be a bad thing, but now you have a different perspective that you bring to your investing by being exposed to different real estate markets. And then thirdly, long distance investing. A lot of people see that as a bad thing, but now you're able to manage risk, reduce your risk, investing virtually by being able to invest in cash flow markets and not necessarily only tied to your market that you're living in. So I think that's huge. So some of the benefits and advantages of being military that you can bring and leverage to your real estate, number one by far is your VA loan. If you're a veteran, if you're retired, if you're active duty, you should be using your VA loan benefits where you can buy a property for 100% loan to value, no money down, and you're always going to get the best interest rate that's out there. You need to use your VA loan. For me, my story, I started with my VA loan. That one side of the duplex I bought was my VA loan. When I moved, I went to San Angelo, went to school, Intel school for 8 months. Then when I got to Langley Air Force Base, I bought a HUD foreclosure, January 2011. Bought it for $208,000. And for me, I was gonna rent because I didn't have the knowledge. I thought because I had used my VA loan one time that I was done. I couldn't use it again because I didn't refinance and it was still there. It was a rental property down in Warner Robins, Georgia. But met with he was actually a retired guy. Stayed next door to my buddies that I was living with at the time because I was like, okay, it was a backlog in the apartments that I wanted to get, and the apartment was like $1,400 a month. Crazy that I was gonna be paying that for an apartment, but I thought I could do a VA loan and was still saving up money for a down payment. And so he's like, hey, you like check, talk to somebody. I think you may still have some entitlement. Check, lo and behold, still had entitlement. Was able to find a HUD foreclosure in a great golf course neighborhood, Kiln Creek, down in Newport News, Virginia, and it was a blessing. You know, got that house under contract. So fast forward 2.5 years, I'm leaving in the summer of 2013, and we're moving to Northern Virginia. So what I'm doing, I'm looking for foreclosures. You know, continue to build that knowledge base up on real estate investing and doing all those things. We had picked up a couple rentals in Birmingham. Section 8 had bought a house for like $25K, and then bought another one for $6,400 off of auction, and we put like $14,000 in it, and then rented it out for like $750 a month. And so we had done those transactions, but then moving up to Northern Virginia, was blessed to find another HUD foreclosure. This is 2013, so there was foreclosures out there, and we found a condo that had been built in 2007, and we had just enough entitlement because of the area. The entitlement was bumped up because of the real estate cost in the DC area, and I was able to get 3 VA loans with 3 different properties all simultaneously, not having to sell one or refinance one or anything. And that was a blessing. We left Northern Virginia in 2017, moved down to Panama City, Florida. Didn't use my VA loan, but was able to use another. We did a fix and flip. We bought a house, renovated it, refinanced it out. But moving back to Northern Virginia in November of 20, we refinanced that house we bought in 2013 into a conventional mortgage and used my VA loan again to buy another property in Northern Virginia, where that we were able to go higher into a jumbo loan. And then, of course, the loan limit is gone out for the VA loans. You're essentially tied to however much the company wants to approve you for. You can do that with your VA loan now. So use my VA loan a total of 4 times, and all zero down with the jumbo. We had to put, I think, 20K down this last time, which was fine for the property that we ended up getting, and the equity we were able to build in it, because it was a foreclosure as well too. And it's just the power using the VA loan to build up net worth over time has just been amazing. I think I hadn't even thought about putting a number on it. We sold the one in Newport News in 2018 to start doing more flips. But like for us, the equity that we've built up over time, I think 140, 50s, 200K, and then 1.1. Yeah, like for those properties right now, I think we got maybe almost 700,000 in equity across those 3 properties, and that was with the other one we sold for like a $40,000 profit with the other one in Newport News. So it's the VA loan all day. That's a tool that you can use to get started. You can buy a fourplex with your VA. I didn't know that until some years ago, but you could buy, for your young single investors, you can use your VA loan to buy a 4-unit as your primary residence. And I'll shoot another video about that to talk about that. But there's a lot of power in the VA loan. Number 2, use your network. You have a lot of brothers and sisters all across different duty stations. You come together, you move and go to different areas. Leverage your network. You have people in other countries. If you're overseas, you got somebody that's still back here in CONUS. So you still want to leverage those connections in order to further your real estate investing network. And then even on outside of just the services, but being able to reach out and network with other real estate investors is super powerful. Whereas that you can still build that same camaraderie, brotherhood, sisterhood with your real estate investors and other entrepreneurs, just like within the service. Whereas that it will accelerate, and for me, it helped my bottom line. My net worth grew exponentially by networking with other real estate investors. Being out there talking with other people that's doing it every day, even though I'm working on it part-time, and being able to build up a 6-figure business that's doing consistent deals year in and year out part-time, to lead that team, that you can leverage your network in order to do that while you're still serving. And that's been powerful for me. Number 3 is definitely moving. Use it to your advantage. Some people say it's a disadvantage you moving. Use it to your advantage. Get different perspectives, learn about different real estate markets, meet different investors in these different markets, and leverage that. Number 4, depending on your career field, you may get bonuses, you may get tax-free deployment, re-enlistment, bonuses, all that kind of stuff. Don't squander that money. Put it aside. Look for investments to leverage that capital in order to move forward, to start building more wealth. Allowance for housing. We have a big advantage for us being in the military, whereas that your housing is paid for and not taxed. Use that to your advantage. You have allowance for housing that you can put towards buying real estate. And so, I think that's another one too, that you don't take for granted, that allowance that you have, whereas that you can live off base, you can use your allowance and find a property to buy. And I think there's going to be some great opportunities coming up, especially in certain markets that are starting to correct, and there's going to be motivated sellers that are going to be looking to sell houses to investors, and there's not going to be a lot of people that's looking to buy. But those who are creative, they know where to find money, and they know how to partner up, and they know how to write creative deals, then they're going to be able to take down properties to add to their rental portfolios or to live in. Because you can buy foreclosures, you can buy rental properties that somebody's selling, you can fix it up and live in. So there's a whole lot of options that you can use. Whereas that, it may be damaged, I can't use my VA loan. Okay, you can partner with your friends LLC. They buy the company, the company buys the house, renovates it, and then they can sell it to you, and you use your VA loan if they fix it up, and you guys figure out how you want to do the price, the equity, the share, and all that stuff, and make the deal happen. So those are some benefits and advantages that you can use just with being in the military, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for you to just kind of level up and start building generational wealth. That VA loan is super powerful. Yep. So if you're active duty, military, retired, or you're a veteran, police officers, my coaching program actually have, the full gauntlet of people that we work with that, are real estate investors with the military, police officers, just normal professionals, or people that's just coming through trying to figure out their career that's fairly young, that we help build their real estate investing knowledge base, but then being able to come in the community and show them how to start doing deals in a short amount of time. And I think it's just super powerful. But definitely drop down in the comments below any questions you may have, or what you would like to see more of, more information about. I do have another video out there that talks about how to get started in real estate investing, so definitely check that out. I go through just some tips on how you can get started and start taking action on that. And I definitely, if you haven't picked up my book yet, you can check out the link at socialproofwealth.com/free, socialproofwealth.com/free, and download a free copy of the book. And yep, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.